Did the extinction of vultures in India lead to 300,000 deaths last year? As incredible as it may sound, the answer is yes. A recent study by two researchers reveals that the presence of diclofenac, an inexpensive generic painkiller in animal carcasses, proved toxic for vultures. It dramatically reduced their numbers ever since farmers began to use the painkiller on ailing livestock, and the practice became widespread since the expiration of the patent and the subsequent price drop for the chemical product. The flip side, for every animal diclofenac cured, it also killed 2 vultures. So how did this happen? Did a painkiller kill 300,000 people in India? News9 Plus Decodes. Let us begin by examining whether diclofenac can be toxic for vultures, and if so, how? Vultures or other similar bird species who are exposed to diclofenac face rapid kidney failure and eventually succumb to their diseases. Widespread usage of diclofenac killed India's population of the best scavengers in the world, leaving their job to dogs and mice, disease carriers themselves. Diclofenac is usually administered a few hours before death to a sick animal, and upon consumption spreads the drug in a vulture's body too. It induces intense chemical reactions that are simply too much for a creature as light as a bird to endure. How does the death of vultures affect us? Cheetahs and tigers nearing extinction didn't make many of us anxious. However, scavengers are an important part of our ecosystem and act as municipal cleaners of flesh, consuming it before it rots. The removal of vultures from the environment means that dogs and mice have to do their job, and they're not good at it. They leave a lot of meat behind to rot, and dogs themselves carry rabies. The lack of vultures meant that animal landfills began to emerge near villages, becoming a hotspot for pathogens and viruses. This in turn infected human beings around rotting meat and their faithful dogs, who ended up dying. Researchers A.L. Frank and Anant Sudarshan say this unfortunate series of events has taken a huge toll on human lives worldwide, including India. What is the extent of India's losses? According to the paper by Frank and Sudarshan, India faces an annual loss of over $70 billion because of the deaths, all because a painkiller became generic and thus inexpensive. It is imperative to restore the vulture population, either by importing or breeding, to reduce the losses in both life and money. The problems are much visible in the urban areas, where there are large, more open areas to dispose of carcasses, and the lack of sanitation gets everyone around these areas sick. Why are stray dogs such a big problem then? Stray dogs pick up rabies from the corpses that they scavenge, and since last year, there were about 3 million cases of dog bites in the country, leading to about 256 more deaths every year. This menace will only continue until diclofenac stays in use and the vultures continue to die. Vultures are the keystone of the environment, acting as natural janitors. Without them, the ecosystem finds itself distraught and in a horrible shape, only amplified by the adverse effects it causes to human life.